All right. Second trade recap. Now, before we get into the trade recap, if you guys haven't watched the first one that I uploaded yesterday, I'd recommend to watch it. It is a long video, so I'm sorry for all the guys that did watch it. It was just a little bit of a yap of my story going into my past, shit like that. Um, we're not gonna do that today. I just want to talk before we get into the trade recap about my tag. My tag on like everything is full transparency, so I just want to be transparent to not only you guys, but to myself. I want everyone to know like this is an honest journey. This is like one where you have to hold yourself and everything you do accountable. So, I did have a My Funded Futures account that I bought on January 3rd, and it recurs every month. So it would have recurred today. But since I had that account for all of January, um, I had a lot of losses on it. If you watched my other video, you heard me saying like January was hard and I had a lot of lessons that I've learned. That account was me learning lessons. Like I lost like $200, $300. I had like pretty good risk to reward ratio, but I wasn't trading with the market. I was kind of like pattern training, like trading. Um, so I learned with that account, and today I will go over it, but I do not have that account anymore. I don't have that account anymore. It is unfortunate, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I'm happy with how today went out, and yeah, I could do things better. Obviously, I'm gonna journal. But yeah, so let's get into the trade recap. Boom. Going into our second recap on this channel. What was I looking at for today? Firstly, before we get into the day, I like to check the news. Today was a no news Tuesday. I hate no news Tuesdays. Normally they're pretty shitty, but I can't just not trade because it's no news Tuesday. There could be good opportunities, so I go and I mark out anyway. First thing that popped out to me, I'm zoomed in on the 15-minute chart. We have this 15-minute high left from London. So we have our London highs there. We also, zooming out a bit, looking to the past, we have our Thursday high that has not been tapped on both ES and on NQ. So I'm thinking, okay, this is pretty bullish from broad type of look at it. Then I look at what we have on sell side. Big, similar to yesterday, LRLR on the downside. So now I'm thinking this is going to be a shitty day. No news Tuesday, draws on both sides. I'm feeling unconfident in my bias, but that is without looking into market structure. So what do we have? Boom. Asia high has been swept by London. So this looks like AMD accumulation, manipulation, distribution. I swear on everything I love, I have stuttered on that 15 times. I've tried to make this recording like 10 times at least. So I'm not doing any more takes. So yeah, we have this AMD here. So I'm thinking, okay, now we're gonna have our true distribution to the downside. We have this 15-minute gap that is left from London. So if we zoom in closer, you can see why I drew that gap the way I did. There is a volume imbalance there. So I like to include that in my fair value gap. And we can look at what we did pre-market. So we come back up and we tap the gap, making an intermediate term high. It's a high that fills a gap, but doesn't take out this liquidity. Now this is so bearish to me. So bearish to me. Unless we take out this high later on. But as we go into the recap, you'll see that is not what we do. On top of this retracement to the gap, we can put our fib onto the range and we can see a little bit more precision on what actually happened. So put our fib to the high, to the low, and we tap OTE of the range and bodies close below consequent encroachment of the gap. Super bearish for me. Also, this 15-minute inversion is a huge giveaway as well. We're just going to have a London continuation again, similar to yesterday. So what we had was accumulation, manipulation, and then we have a distribution, but with a little retracement to OTE of the range, inversion, continuation. That was my look on the day. Now you can't say hindsight, but that's actually what I was thinking. So if we look at what actually happened, boom, Drake is on my screen. Drake is all over the screen right now. So we take out all of the LRLR. Now you may be asking, okay, are you not done for the day? What are you looking for? One thing that I didn't mention, 15-minute untapped bullish gap from yesterday. Now, what I tend to see happen in the market is if we have this huge gap that is untapped, it's like a magnet for price. But it also has to align with some sell side. I think if this gap was here without any sell side, it might have a lower probability of being taken. But everything lined up here. We have a LRLR and we also have the 15-minute gap. Now we just got to look for entries to take to get to this gap. So if we go and look at the 1 minute, we can see for my model, in this big Drake move down, there's nothing for me to take. Nothing. Some people might have taken things. Personally, I took nothing. I let it happen. I let all of the liquidity just go without me. So now we are printing green candles to the upside. So right away, I am looking for one of these candles, or not one, but I'm looking to create a bullish fair value gap. Now, why you may ask, there's still this gap down here. If we make a bullish gap and disrespect it, that's perfect. We have a huge draw. We have huge conviction for this 15-minute gap. It's untapped. We're right there. ES is lagging behind. ES hasn't taken the gap either. So we just wait. We sit on our hands and we wait. We wait for a gap to be made. Boom. There it is. Our 1 minute gap. Now we have to see what we do with this gap and also what time it is. It's also important to see what time it is. I like to trade macro time. This is the perfect time to take this trade. We have a false swing up. If people take this 1 minute inversion, you're like, it's not going to go your way because we have this 15-minute gap. All the draws haven't been taken. If you took it just based on the liquidity sweep, you're missing something. So you got to make sure you see everything. So we have this gap being made. I want to see it being disrespected. So we tap it. Boom. 950. We have a inversion on the gap. This is my entry. I entered on the close of the gap to consequent encroachment of the 15-minute gap, and then my stop was at the high. Now, there may be some questions of why consequent encroachment of the gap. I had so much conviction in this, mainly because ES was lagging behind. So by the time that we hit this gap, ES most likely wouldn't have hit the gap, if that makes sense. So we still have to continue going lower. But I also have my break even point at the top of this gap. So if we do tap this gap, my stops would be break even, and I would just either let it come back and hit me out, or we hit consequent encroachment, and that's my trade. So I also, to be completely honest, was a little hesitant. I actually just lied. My entry wasn't on the 1 minute. It was on the 2 minute closure. So that goes along with my hesitant claim. So if you go into ES, this is the same time at ES. So 940 on the 1 minute. We had the 1 minute inversion, but ES was just happening. So I was waiting for the 2 minute closure, which ended up not happening. But I had conviction, and this was a mistake on my part. I feel like if I just waited, it would have been a bit better because we had a retracement to a gap. But as you can see, we did not have it. an inversion gap here. We were just tapping it. So it was like a B plus setup on NQ because of that. So I entered on the 2 minute waiting for ES. I was watching ES and ES had to close. So I entered there. Now I went to the 1 minute just to watch how the trade will play out. So that's the 2 minute, that's the entry that I got on that closure. We have this 1 minute gap here. So my stop is perfect above the 1 minute gap, and it gives it enough space to wick above. I think my stop placement was great. As you can see, tap this gap, and then we continue and smash the target. Great trade. Um, Only complaint I have is ES being a little slow to close the gap, and I think that's why we have this retracement here. Whoever took this 1 minute, the 1 minute was also great. I just felt hesitant. Maybe in the future I'd take the 1 minute and just wait. Now, you may be asking, how did I lose my MyFunded Futures account on a winning trade? Because I had so many losing trade, but I had one winning, there was a daily drawdown limit. Or not daily drawdown limit, but a following limit. So I could only lose $400. So I entered. We had this candle that retraces to a 1 minute. Perfect. But it goes over my limit and stops me out of the account, and I lost my account on this trade. Now, I couldn't care about it, honestly. I think it was a great trade. I think I would have taken this trade again and again and again because I think that's what difference differentiates. I don't know. That's the difference between profitable traders and non-profitable traders. They know their model and they stick to it even if they have losses. Now, do I think this is unfortunate? Yeah, I do. But like I said in the beginning of the video, all accountability. It's all on me. So I'm okay with losing this trade. It was a great trade. Um, I did get a Lucid account, so I'm on Lucid. And I'm hoping now that, you know, I don't make stupid mistakes like I did in the past and I've learned, and obviously I'm taking good trades. I'm taking good trades, and just a little bit of drawdown is what messed me up. But yeah, that is my recap for the day. As we see, I don't know how to use a recap feature, but let's get out of here. For the rest of the day, it was pretty much done. We filled the gap. I'm content with consequent encroachment of the gap. Look how clean it was. There was, other than the my bad entry, or honestly, it's not even that. Just like this retracement, that was the only drawdown I had, and then everything else there was no retracement, no drawdown at all. So in the future, I'm gonna journal about this. I'm gonna journal about how in the past I shouldn't have been stupid. I shouldn't have, made the mistakes I did. But also, I'm thankful for the mistakes I did. I'm thankful because if I didn't make those mistakes, I wouldn't have noticed that, this market structure here, this LRLR here. I would have just gone to the day. Maybe I would have slept through the day. I would have been like, oh man, no news Tuesday. I'm not gonna take anything. But yeah, that is the trade recap for the day. Second one, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.